Hi guys, how you doing? Thank you, Roberts, for pushing on the raid there. That's awesome.
How you doing?
And I've got myself on
Thank you.
Twitch at the same time. Okay, for those who don't know me, my name is Giovanni Van Geel, also known as BraveCobra2 on Twitch. Okay. So as I mentioned before on Robert's stream today, is I'll be investigating stuff with Nomad, which is another part of the tool chain in of Hashicorp. So, well, let's get started. I also changed the camera to be in front of me, so I can straight look at you guys instead of having it from the side. Yeah, so let's see. We got Nomads. So what is that? Let's go to the intro. What do I work on? Well, Wes 321. I work as a technical lead at a company that makes software for the pharmacies here in Belgium. So I usually do developments and architectural work. Development being C#. I came from a Delphi background back in the previous century, so that's where I started in the computer business. And yeah, then I later on moved on to C#. I do some TypeScript and Angular, etc. So I've pretty much got a broad knowledge of different computer languages. But and no, I'm not going to FastDem this weekend, unfortunately. Didn't get any tickets, so well, I'm not Brussels based, so yeah, I do have broad knowledge of all different kinds of languages, so but I'm not proficient in all of them, of course. I don't think there's a possibility to know everything these days. There's just too much to learn. So, what I'm trying to do during the weekends is, yeah, catch up and see where I can learn something new and maybe use that one in a work environment. That'd be awesome. So how did I get up into dev? Well, actually it started with gaming, as with everything. There was a game I started playing back in the 90s called Caesar 3, and that was a city building game, and that city building game needed some sort of plan layout for your city, of course, and the very first program that I wrote was some little text box that accepted ASCII characters and then laid out an HTML table for you, so you can post. You could post that then on the forums that were available at that time. Yeah, that was great, and that's how it got started. And then that was written in, I think it was Visual Basic. I think it was Visual Basic 5 or 6, can't remember. So yeah, I mean, I've always been someone who liked to learn, and most of the time you fail miserably in the beginning, but then after a while you start getting more proficient in that, and then you see some patterns evolving, and then things you learn in one language you can then start to apply in another one, and then something like design patterns and that kind of stuff pops up. And yeah, most of the time the language itself is not so important, at least it's not to me. It's more like, is the actual code that you're writing, is that cleanly written? And because it's all Boolean syntax most of the time. If this, then, and so this is. If that is sound, then yeah, well, regardless of the language that you write it in, then yeah. Is the sound okay? There should be some music in the background. I don't know what the volumes are. As I said before, this is my second stream ever. So yeah, Visual Basic Rambling Geek. That's indeed. I think it's been about 20 years now since I've even touched any VB. But okay, thanks for the audio checkup there. Great. So what I wanted to try today is Nomad. And what Nomad does, if I understood it correctly, and I'll switch to the to my browser here. What Nomad basically is a scheduler, as in a task scheduler. So the thing, Kubernetes has pretty much the same thing built in. So what you can do with this one is, let's have a look at the use cases here, right? So what you can do is Docker container management. So if you have a couple of Docker images and you want to be running them together, and you want to be have them cooperate with each other, what you want to do then is say, okay, if I have 2, 3, 4, 5 instances of a certain Docker container running, then you can schedule extra ones, and you can manage that runtime from a central service, which is going to be Nomad. Kubernetes has pretty much the same thing built in, but it does that in its own private cluster, whereas Nomad can run on any system. Pretty much. They have, if we go to the downloads page, you see they'll have support for Mac, Linux and Windows. So that's awesome. I'm now here on Windows. So if it turns out that we're going to be hitting any Windows specific things, then yeah, we're eventually going to be running it on Linux anyway. So if I do hit any Windows specific errors, that kind of stuff, we'll be switching to Linux, right? I have in my Hyper-V here, I've got the mobile Linux running for Docker, of course. I've got an Ubuntu standing by if needed. And what I also have, but I don't think I'll be touching it today, is I have 3 Kubernetes nodes which are configured as a master and 2 worker nodes. But that Kubernetes cluster is completely empty. Okay, Robert Tables, you're saying one note about Kubernetes on AWS, you pay for the cluster hourly even if there's nothing running inside of it, compared to the native ECS, where you only pay for what's running. So that is true, because yeah, okay, Kubernetes is a instance of a machine and that's actually running, so it makes sense that if you keep that one running even though you're not doing any actual work in there, that you have to pay for that one. Yeah, makes sense. So I do have that one ready. At some point I'll be trying to deploy to that one as well, And what I wanted to use, because you need to be running something, right? And I am a C# developer, is the guys from devmentors.io. They have something like microservices written in .NET Core, right? So as I said before, language is not so much important. It can be anything, basically. And they have a couple of repos that all work together and form a couple of repos that have Docker images. And those Docker images all work together to provide a web shop, right? So what they're trying to do with these examples is how do you do distributed .NET Core? How do you write microservices in .NET Core? And they provide somewhat the building blocks, of which most of the logic is in this D# common, right? So I already got the D# one. I have the repo ready here, ready to go. So I opened up Visual Studio, where I have all those different microservices open. So it might be useful, I think, at first to see whether we can get it up and running locally, and then afterwards we can see what we can do with Nomad, or we could go the other way around, because I already did this one. I already got the different Docker images built locally, so maybe we could go into Nomad directly. That'd be another option. Let's first see that this one builds, right? You want me to go into the architecture of this one? Let me know in chat. Meantime, I'll also download the Nomad executable for Windows, 64-bit. And that should be that one. Okay, already got it. So, wow. Let's do that in a... I usually dump them in a bin folder. Let's try that from here. Because I know that's going to be just one executable, right? Extract that one here. That's going to be a subfolder. Great, guys. That's enough. Like that. Don't need that one anymore. And then I probably want to add that path to the environmental variables. So I can have nomads running on. Edit that one. There we go. Right, so if I turn up a terminal, which is going to be PowerShell, I should have access to the Nomad executable. Well, does something. That's cool. Okay. So what this one does, it has a server version and a client version. And you can run it as an agent. Start a job, stop a job, allocations, etc. Okay. And you can interact with servers there. What's that PowerShell? Well, this is just plain old PowerShell. No, it's not true. This is Commander. For those who do not know, Commander is a console emulator. Which has support, so all your shells pretty much look the same. So what I can do from here is I can fire up just CMD, right? It looks pretty much the same, but this is a plain command line, and this is PowerShell, and I can have bash in here. This is git bash. See, and they're all in one terminal window where I can switch between all different kinds. I do have, for all the ones that do remember the old Midnight Commander thingies, I also have FAR. You remember these? So yeah. So basically this is nothing more than plain old PowerShell, right? Nothing more. And we can go to the bash, which is the git bash that comes with your git installation. We don't need a CMD. Alright, so let's have a look. How does it work? Let's find out together. We got the download, cool. Intro. So we get a couple of use cases. Yeah, we got here the microservices where we're going to combine these two, the Docker and the microservices part. And multi-region, multi-cloud deployments. Cool, right. Nothing new. How does it compare to Kubernetes? Yeah, that might be an interesting one to know. Because Kubernetes is an orchestration system for containers, right? And it does a lot of the heavy lifting for you. Stuff like it runs in a cluster, which can be sort of like compared to your VPC on AWS, and it's its own little environment in which it can spin up new containers, and it manages those for you. If one goes down, spins up another, etc., etc. So that's basically the orchestration part of Kubernetes. And while it does a lot more than just the scheduling, Nomad is just a scheduler, right? So, and there are a couple of other ones. We have Docker Swarm, which was popular back in the day, but then Kubernetes came. So I'll definitely want to be looking at Kubernetes at some point as well. So they suggest to start up a Vagrant server. Now the downside is that I have a Hyper-V running here to run the whole Docker thing, and VirtualBox is not going to be working at the same time when Hyper-V is running, so that's going to be awkward. So do I need it? Okay, there's a Vagrant file. So let's see what's in there. Install Docker, great. I've got that one up and running. Yeah, service discovery, self-healing, scaling, port mapping, etc. Those are the oh man, I can't even say it. As you might have understood, English is not my native language. I usually speak Dutch, so if you catch me saying stuff awkwardly, that's probably the reason. So, okay. Yeah, so we got, let's see. We got the whole Docker part doing that, or installing Nomad, but it's just an executable. That's pretty much what I did before. The only thing I didn't do is have any... Yeah, that's for the daemon, so nothing there. They do install console from the command line. I mean, you can run Vault in Docker, not Vagrant. Okay, thanks for the English part there. I'm trying. As long as you guys understand me. If you don't, let me know. So let's have a look. They have console as a service. Maybe we should download console as well at the same time, because they're probably going to be working together. And the other thing here is then for the VBox and the size, etc. And yeah, Parallels, VirtualBox and VMware, no Hyper-V there. So would have been nice if they added that one as a provider for the Vagrant. Don't know if that's gonna be working. So you get the Infusion, VirtualBox. Nah, it's probably not gonna work. But they only do that to do the memory part. And it's going to be running Ubuntu. So we might switch to plain Ubuntu at the same time if we were going to be running into trouble. But hey, there is a Nomad executable for Windows, so why not try it, right? Okay, so let's skip that one. You SSH into that, Nomad. Yeah, we pretty much get that one started. So let's run Nomads. Sudo is not going to be important here. So let's run this. Let's run this from a different folder somewhere. Dev, and we're going to be... yeah, let's just... Nomad test. Whatever. I have way too many test folders. Okay, let's run it from here. What's that gonna do? Spins up something. Cool. Okay, seems to be up and running. Now, that's pretty much what they wanted us to show. So on another terminal, I can probably ask for the nodes, right? So that's an agent that's going to be running in the background. And yeah, that seems to be correct. Drain false, eligible. That's the name of my computer. That's probably the cluster name, and that's the ID of the agent that is running. Alright, nice. Yeah, that's pretty much what they say here. I didn't copy that command. Yeah, okay. Local port, build, DC center, region, global. I doubt it. It's gonna be global. Okay. And you stop it just by hitting Ctrl C. Yeah, that works. Cool. Up and running. Next, run a job. So that's the whole idea behind Nomad, is that you're going to be running jobs on there, and jobs are, that could be pretty much anything. As far as I've understood it, you only have to be describing it in what you do in Nomad files, and we're going to have to be looking at the syntax of that one. So we want a skeleton job file. Okay, let's see what that one does. And I completely wrote that to my user folder here, right? Yeah, there we go. this is the one that I want to be on the same Nomad test folder. So let's have a look. Let's try that from here and start code in this folder. So what does that one look like? Got an example job, data center 1. We're going to be running it as a service, which probably means that's going to be, sure, have a look. Okay. We'll probably get some syntax highlighting on that one. Yeah, there we go. And what do I want to be running? Oh, they have the knowledge of canaries. That's cool. Not revert. Migrate. Group cache restarts. You're going to be running Redis as a Docker image. So that's going to be the image, and we're going to do some port mapping on that one. So the end result of this one, this example one, yeah, resources, got a Redis cache. Okay. So if we run that, we're going to have Redis running through. Okay, but I do remember they had something. Okay, well, let's not skip ahead. So what you then do, you have the agent running, you fire up this job run commands. And there we go. Is that a Windows thing? Oh, the required privilege is not held by the client. Wow. There we go. There's your first one. But I didn't start the Nomad server as an administrator, right? That's probably the reason. Let's try that. So skip that one. Run the agent as an administrator. I don't want to be doing this, but we'll see. Do I want to run it here? Nope. Okay, let's see. Okay. Now, that's not gonna help. That's probably gonna be... Oh, this is a Windows error. This is not Nomad. Error getting the job file from. Nope. It's not liking the Windows path syntax. Okay. So now let's look what the Windows thing is. Run job. Yeah, there we go. And that's still open. Okay, there's a workaround. Create symbolic links and add yourself to the list. Yeah, that one makes sense. There we go. Okay. So, which one is it? Security settings, local policies, user admin rights, and there is something on. There we go. So that's one of those reasons why you don't want any tools. I mean, on Linux it makes sense, but that's the whole thing where Windows is like quirky. So, okay, anyway. Let's see if that fixes things. Probably have to restart this whole shell thing. That one wasn't running. You see, this is one of the downsides of you need the whole program like Commander to exit for the whole to have find out about new environmental variables and that kind of stuff, whereas if it's a separate window, you just close that one window. But this is all in starting from one process being Commander. So okay, let's go back to that dev folder. Let's start the agent first. Should I be running this one on admin privileges? No, this sets the job, right? So let's try that one again. And to the same folder. And then schedule the run. Ah, that looks better. Okay, so we got a job run. Okay. We should see something happen here. Failed to get container. Mount. It's not known to Docker. I do have Docker running, and these are Linux containers. It's trying to do a mount. Yeah, that's not gonna work. And then it's gonna try again. Yeah, see, that's where the Windows part is like, yeah. Trying to do that on Windows is like the worst idea ever. Yeah, continuous, failed to create container, blah blah blah. Although this one is closed. So what's the error here? That was an old version. Start setting in Docker for Windows where you're allowed to mount certain version. Yes, there is actually. If you open up the settings there, could very much be, but my whole drive is being shared. If that's what, if that's the setting you mean. Yeah. So they're all shared. So we should be able to mount that kind of stuff. I do have the experimental version, the experimental features here on, but it shouldn't matter there. So yeah. So I did scheduling parts as an administrator. And I do have a Redis version here as an image, so yeah. Is that the same version? Where was it? Yeah, exact same version. If this is not going to work out, I'm going to be switching to Linux. I mean, I should probably fire that one up. I don't see how we can get this one to properly run, but I don't want to give up too easy now. That's a symbolic link thing. I did notice that for certain parts on Linux, where if you're then running Linux containers on a Windows system, you want to be writing to the Windows file system, then the Linux executables, they might be complaining about the permissions that they need, because they don't exist on Windows, not as such. So yeah, if you go doing stuff like this and these files need proper permissions and they're being checked, then you're gonna be running into trouble if you because they then reside on the Windows file system, so you don't want to be doing that basically. So do we have a solution for that one? Compose, convert, blah blah blah, quick reference, closed. Okay, but that should be running. That should be done. Oh, was 321. I have no idea whether that command is actually doing something for you there. I'm using Pretzel to have some audio here. I was looking into what you can play as music if you're doing a Twitch stream, and what you're allowed to play. And Pretzel came up. So no, it's not Spotify. It's this Pretzel Rocks thingy that you keep seeing popping up. And as far as I've understood, that's allowed to on Twitch, so that's what I went for. And it's not completely ugly, so okay, that's not gonna work. We're gonna be doing this in Linux, guys. I don't want to be figuring this one out and make it work on Windows. If eventually we're gonna run it on Linux anyway, so something like Kubernetes or AWS or wherever you run your Kubernetes, or on Azure or whatever. Yeah, Robert, I know you use Spotify, but you're probably having the paid account, right? I do have Spotify, but I'm on the free plan. Hey, I'm cheap. So Okay, let's see how far this one is. Let's go full scale on that one. There we go. Brand new machine. We're on Linux now. Which, as I notice now on OBS, that's my video is like off a bit. I should be placing myself a touch up, right? Yeah, that makes more sense. Okay, whatever. Okay, let's try it here then. Luckily we didn't get too far into the Windows part, so... Nomads. Yeah. Probably didn't want that one. No, I don't want to be opening up my Gmail. Hashicorp. Nomads. Is there a PPA for Hashicorp? Oh my god, come on. Don't do this one. Hashicorp, PPA for Ubuntu, that'd be nice. There's a Vagrant installer. Okay. Are there any, at least it's bash scripts, etc. Blah blah blah. There is one for a okay. There's no official one. Okay. No need to worry. I probably want that one. That's a zip file. That's ARM. Yeah. We're gonna be doing this, guys. Let's do Nomads test folder here. Yeah, okay, show me files. I probably don't want to be running it there, but whatever. Okay. Let's try this. So that was in the downloads, Nomads, etc. Right, so we can fire up Nomad here. And we had the agent, what was it called? Def? Let's go back to the intro, it's getting started. Where were we? Oh, that one is. Oh, so it was the agent that had to be administrator or root or whatever. Okay. It doesn't know. Oh boy. That makes sense. Alright, so we get one agent started. probably don't have Docker on this one, on this machine. Let's go back to the complete beginnings of this. I don't have Docker on this one. Nah, you see, there we go. Let's try that one first. This is the Docker IO thing that I want. I do think that I have the PPA for that one already installed. Nope, it's not here. Good catch. I want to be using the PPA for Docker, of course, for Ubuntu 18.4. Alright, let's go back to the way basics and install Docker on Ubuntu. Cool. Didn't want to be doing that one. Yeah, I have those. I want a key. There we go. I want that one, but that's probably going to be that. Yeah, okay, that's the right one. Yeah, you look at the app install Docker IO. Yeah, I'm trying to get it from the official Docker PPA there instead of having it just this one just this one version. So whenever they come up with updates, etc., I get the updates. So. Yeah, that should be it. I'm closing that one, don't need that one. I'm gonna be I'll do that one later. Let's fire that one thing up again and let's see what we have for Docker now. That's the system tray. Didn't want that one. I want the Docker IO thing, but the search is still. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, let's see, I'm kind of curious as well. So the latest official one for Docker is which one? Docker.com. Yeah. Thank you, GDPR. Thank you. Oh, nice. Windows and Mac, nothing there. Okay. So what did we end up with? Stash fee, just right. Okay, we got 1806.1 and a community edition of that one. So that should suffice. Okay. Let's get back to our agent here. So we did, let's try the Nomad job in it. Okay, and let's then try to run that sucker. Oh boy, cool. Is that one there? That would be surprising. Oh, come on. I did copy that one, right? Well, there is Nomad. Is that the same Nomad? Looks like an old version. Is that the same Nomad? Right, let's see. Debug, debug, debug. There's no console, right? We know that. Cool. So it seems to be working. No stats allocation, registration must not registration complete. Okay. Just because you wanted to know, was this is the one that I meant. It's appretzel.rocks. That's where I get music from. I downloaded the app playing that one, and then just feeded that one to the audio to my headset here. Okay. Don't need that one, don't need that one, don't need that one. We're all the way back here. So we got the running job. Let's have a look at that status, right? Not in this terminal. Let's try that here. Okay. Oh, you're probably not seeing that. So this is what the output gave us. Task group, last deployment. Deployment is running. Deployed, one desired, one placed, and we have an allocation for a node. Pardon, which is running. Seems to be exactly the same thing. So if we then get that ID there, which is gonna be that one. Oh boy. But okay, I really need to put that in the bin thingy. Okay. So these are the recent events, downloaded the image, built, etc., ran it. So that's the task. Uses that amount of memory on that particular ports. Okay, cool. So let's have a look. Analog logs, right? So we can see the logs of that particular node, which is going to be that one. Cool. We get Redis running on that scheduler part, so I don't want to be modifying that one. So what I want to do now is fire up code now here. That was twice, I have no idea why. That's a different project altogether. Yeah, save it. Do I have two windows open now? I want this one. So we set it to run only one instance of that. Oh yes, I want the code completion thingy that I had before. So in this job file, we said we wanted not going to be the cache, right? Which one was it? The number of task groups. I did close the wrong one. Oh boy. So close that. Yeah, what's this one? In the group cache, restart attempt to, yeah, okay, makes sense. So if we change that one to 3 now, we save it, and we then send it through job plan. Okay, wow. Why is you're asking what is free? Do you mean the pretzel rock? Yeah, that's completely free. So okay, what did that one do? So there's a put in there, registering, etc. So if we now ask for the amount of, and we go for the, that's still on 1. Task group, the cache is 2 to create, 1 place, okay. Forces create. Dry run and submit the job with version verification. Okay, so that's just a plan. So you know that's the same thing as in Terraform, the plan to see what's you would be doing. So to submit the job with version verification, you just run that one and do the check index. Okay. So in this case, it's going to be 28. Okay. Right. Cool. So now we got 3 running. We wanted 3, we asked for 3. Great. So now we want to upgrade to Redis full. Sure. So basically we go back to the file where we define that. We would check this one in source control, of course, and then have source control do the plan, etc., and run. That would make sense. So that would change it from 3.2 to full 0. Makes sense. I want check index. Oh, come on. Copy. Paste that one. So we see stuff moving. Cool. There's one stopped and the other 3 are running, and they're probably running that on one. So that makes sense. Yeah, that's pretty much what we did. And one condition will be updated, the other 2 will be ignored. This is due to the max parallel setting in update stanza, which is set to 1. To instruct Nomad to perform only 1 change at a time. So once ready to run. Okay. That's probably not going to change. Okay. That makes sense. So how do you stop that one? You do it by name. That's cool. And they're all stopped. Okay. Let's try the first cluster. So what we want to be doing. So now we got an agent and it can spin up nodes, right? It can spin up Docker containers. And you have some control on how many you want. That's cool. I did move up my video a little bit too high now. I notice. So yeah, something like that. That's better. Okay, so we want to be starting a file called HL. Let's try that. Call it server.html. Okay. start a new terminal, minimal server, etc., and we run an agent, but now with a configuration file. And what does that configuration file say? You want a server, enable true, bootstrap expected 1. Yeah, so we get an agent mode and a server mode. So let's fire that puppy up. Oh. Okay, there's no console running, we got that one. That makes sense. There's no connection there. Okay. Election 1, we are the leader. Cool. There's only one. Nice. There can be only one. So now we make clients. Client 1. With a data directory there, we give it a name, and we know that the server is going to be running on its default ports, which is the local host and that one. And yeah, we modify our port. So okay. So let's fire up a second one. That's not it. I wanted that one. Messy. Yeah. Okay. Did I not start that one on? Oh, I didn't start it here as a... I probably would have to. Okay. That's client 1. That one started as an agent. There again as agent. Probably, is that documentation then not? Let's see. You must specify either server client or dev modes for the agents. But that should be in the config file, right? Enable the client and client true. Oh, it didn't save it? Oh boy. Newbie mistake. One client, one server. And I think they wanted to, yeah. Copy the file, change the name, blah blah blah. Upgrade the ports. So let's make a client 2, copy that. Client 2. Do that one. Go into that folder. Change the name. What was it? 6, 7. Different port. Third terminal. And the command that we wanted was that one, but with a 2. Okay. Checks out. There's no validation thingy there. That should check out. I did save it, right? Yeah, okay. Okay, let's see if we do have it up and running. So let's go back to our first terminal there. Oh boy. Nope. That's the server. That should be client 1. That should be client 2. Okay. I do see what happens there. And I have 2 nodes, client 1, client 2. That's what I should have seen. Cool. Now let's run that again, that same commands that we had before. So let's run our job again. So instead of sending it to one agent, we now run it against one agent with 2 worker nodes behind it, basically. And now we'll see that, okay, cool. So indeed there are 2 jobs running on one node, and the second one is running on the different node. But I didn't have to think about that, right? It just happens. I just said run 3 images of Redis. That's it. I didn't specify where to run them or on which agent to run them. And as you can see, that's all on IP address. Okay, they happen to be running on one particular on localhost, but that could be anything, right? Okay. Yeah, we're trying. Okay. Oh, now we're getting into the GUI stuff. Cool. So there is a GUI for that one. It's been all along, apparently. So let's open up that one. Let's see. Nice. So we get one job. Called example. 3 in place. Oh man, this is getting cool now. You can see the definition. Version and deployments. Okay. Client 1, client 2. That's the bot. Okay, nice. So to have extra services running on Nomad shouldn't be too hard. We should just be now, it would have been nice to have this one running on Windows, and I really need to figure out which one it is, because okay, so indeed, let's have a look at the job. We got 3 running. Three unhealthy. Why is that? Why does it say 3 unhealthy? You got 1 canary, 1 place, 1 desired, 3 desired. Why does it say 3 unhealthy? Because I'm missing a couple of stuff on the notes. Oh, there are no service checks. So it doesn't know how to check whether they're healthy or not. Okay. Right. Makes sense. There are no service checks registered, so it cannot check whether it's healthy. So yeah, by default then it's unhealthy. Okay. Cool. So running containers and spinning them up. Let's have a look at the guides. Job lifecycle and a Terraform. So how can we spin up? Provision Nomad cluster using Terraform. That by itself doesn't take much, right? How much resources is that eating? Nomads. Starts with an N. Oh, cool, it's down here. But it's not too. 10, 11. That one is not even doing diddly squat, so that's cool. Okay. Yeah, and that one is saying to Docker, hey, Docker, on this image, run me that, and that. So it really does only the scheduling part and talking to Docker, hey, fire up this one, fire up that one. That is like super nice. Bam, there they go. No more Redis. We do have Nomad up and running. Yeah, there's all three of them. Stop that one. Let's go to our interface. One server. Well, apparently it takes time for... Oh no, it says status down. Oh man, this is super nice. This is like cool. So that gives you basically anywhere the option to run Docker containers like everywhere you want. And then indeed makes sense with console to have that configuration in one place and then have each client have a console client. Have each node a... This is nice, guys. Okay. Is anybody still in chat? Because I don't see too much action in there. Oh, Ancient Coder, you still here? Probably lurking. That's okay. He's still actively following me. That's cool. Alright, so what did you think about this one, Ancient Coder? This looks pretty cool. The only downside I found was that we couldn't get it to run on Windows. So I want to give that another try. Because if we can do this on Windows, I think for a lot of our developers that's going to be useful to spin up a couple of containers that they have no idea about. So basically what this one is going to be doing is exactly the same as what Docker Compose is going to be doing, where you say, hey, spin me up a couple of containers. The only difference here is it can be distributed. You don't care where they are running. You can do it on 1, 2, 3, 4, 7 machines. I don't care, right? You just say to that one server, hey, spin me up 3 images. I don't care where you run them. Just run them. And then you let them configure themselves through console. Console is the other part of their tool chain. So if you go to Hashicorp.com and we pick out console, and what that one does is service discovery, which is the other part which is built into Kubernetes, of course, but it's not console, of course, it's their own standalone version. So that one is like, well, actually, let's have a look, because on this one, so the API they ran, and a couple of those things that it needed to run was console. The only thing it didn't do was have separate Nomad tasks to spin up each individual. So there's a Docker image of each of these, right? Of the customer microservice and the identity microservice, which is to log in, and they have a microservice to send notifications around, and want to keep track of all the operations happening in the system. And there's an older one, there's a discount one as well, and each of them is a Docker container, right? So if each of those would come along with a Nomad job, we're pretty much there already. Okay. Right, so let's see if we can do this in Windows. Where did we end up? We failed starting that first Redis image, right? So what we've learned today now, so we ran as an agent. I think that's going to be wrong as well. So let's fire up a new PowerShell as an administrator. And do that agent stuff thingy as the admin. Hope that's gonna help. That's a Nomad one. And we're gonna move to the other one also as admin. It was in the Nomad test, right? So it does allow to schedule that one. Okay. So can I now say Nomad's nodes status? Node status, it was. Yeah. Okay, getting all those commands to. So if we started them both, job init, we did that one, status example, that one. Yeah, I need to fetch that. So that was that one. And did I just not try to run them both in as administrator? Was that it? Oh man. So that's the nodes. Cool. Okay. No, it still has that Docker mount error. Yeah, I cannot create a Redis thing because Redis is like has that mount problem. Let's try a different container. Let's not try Redis. The thing is that job file asking to mount stuff? Service cache, global tags, etc. Blah blah blah. Because I had problems with Redis before. So maybe we should just try a different image. Something that keeps running, like Nginx. I don't know. What version would that be? Yeah, something like that. Good enough. Sure, okay. Let's... Oh, we got killed completely? Wow. Let's try that one. And let's edit the image that we're doing here. Oh, wait a minute. So that's going to be Nginx. That version. Let's spell that right, man. Yeah. Port map 80. Resources, that's okay. Service, I'm gonna comment you out. Yeah, let's see what that one gives us. Well, the job started. No, same mount error. Because the source path is not known. And it's gonna try a couple of times to throw blah blah blah, and then it's probably gonna fail. Alright, so let's try to spell first constraint return. Okay, let's try that other job. Let's try a hello world job. from that. Is there a format? Oh, it does know HL. Of course it does. Save in. Can we format that? No. Alright. That makes sense. So let's try to fire that one up. And let's start the Hello World Nomads. Oh wow. There was a dash in there, right? Okay. Does that help us in any way? So we have a local host running on, what was it again? Yeah. Yeah, it failed as well. So that example job placed 4 times, 1 desired, but that just doesn't run whatsoever. And then this new Hello World v1 thing fails as well. Okay, it's not helping us. There really is an issue with that Docker driver on Windows with Nomad. Nomad, Docker, Windows. That should really be an issue. I mean, it just doesn't run, basically. Does it say in the docs that it doesn't run? Oh, wait a minute. Well, it doesn't run out of the box apparently, because you need the volume drivers. Yeah, okay. So in the config, wait a sec. This isn't the job description, right? Yeah. Task configuration. A specific task, Docker driver, blah 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 blah. But even so, these are the volume mounts. Okay. We've been up for an hour and 43 minutes. So yep. We should be able to find something about the fact that it's not going to be running on. This is not able to find it, but we did find. It's just that I think we need some extra configuration to have it play properly. Because I can't imagine that the Nomad people. What's my schedule? Good idea. I have none at the moment. Last time my first stream was last Sunday, and now we're Saturday. So it'll probably be in the weekend, because usually during the week I don't have too much time at night, and it all depends on what I do. So basically when I have something that I want to figure out, I probably go out and stream it, but I know that most people expect the schedule to do so. So what I try to do, what I'm going to try to do is say, hey, I'm going to be on the weekends, whether that's Saturday or Sunday. I haven't made my mind up yet on that part. I know that C# Fritz is streaming on Sundays. Used to be Saturdays, now it's Sundays. Robert Tables, he pops on like all the time. So, and I do get those notifications there. So I'd like to stay out of their way. So I don't want to be streaming when they're streaming, because I want to be following them along. And yeah. I do have time in the weekend, and probably when some of the other ones aren't streaming, and then that's probably the moment when I go on. So it'll be either on a Saturday, because when I found out that not too many people that I follow are streaming on Saturdays. Robert was today. Yeah, I do help on Fritz's stream. And yeah, well, maybe at some point when I feel more confident on doing stuff. Because up until now, last time I did something on doing some architecture diagrams. Now it's Nomad, and both of those topics were really things that I'm 100% comfortable with. So you see me struggling. On the other hand, I could be doing something like more like C# kind of stuff, like this one, and try to figure out and make some extra service or something like that. But I do that during the week all day. So yeah, in the weekends I'd like to figure out something. Well, the diagram thing, maybe I can show you a little bit of what I made then. I think it was one of those recent pull requests that Jeff approved. If we open up a core wiki thingy, I can actually. So is that still in the branch? Well, it got accepted to dev, so I can show you that. Which branch am I on? Sure, open the workspace, whatever. That's the loading. Anyway, in the docs now there's a C4 models thing, and if you provide it with the right VS Code plugins, you have plant.uml files which look like that, and they eventually, well, eventually, not eventually, they do provide you with a diagram once fired up completely, which should look like, come on, oh, it's still activating the extensions. Well, they look like this actually. You can regenerate them. So the landscape one, which is a context one, there. Now he comes up. Let's try that one more time. So that's the image. You preview that one, and you can I do that? Yeah, like that. On the side, please. Come on. Oh boy. That one and that one. I want it on the sides. Close it. Generate a preview. And split the screens. So the idea there is that you can just edit the diagrams in plain text, basically. So what I wanted to do, and I was struggling a bit, pardon the cough, was, oh boy. Just a second. All right. What plugins do you need? The only one you need would be the plant.uml one, and you would need Java to be installed on your system. So, and that should basically be it. I think I explained it in the pull request itself. So if you go to the core wiki one, there was a pull request that should be closed now. Yeah, there we go. And what you need is the plant.uml extension in VS Code, and then you just can go and edit those PUML files and right click, and that's it. You may need, I don't know if it's built in, but you may need Gravis, which is a just, is it Gravis? Yeah, this one. Which is the visualization tool, which is something that plant.uml uses. So if there's a download there for Windows and Linux and etc. So if you download that one and have the plant.uml extension in VS Code installed, that should work. And then you can do just plain UML, plant UML syntax with what this guy does, Ricardo Niepel. So he wrote that for that C4 syntax, all kind of describing of architectures, and that's when he that was what I originally used to describe the core wiki site and all different components and moving parts. I redid it now with this plugin, so you would end up with let's see if I can get, yeah, that's the application server. This is the more let's see. So you would end up with these kind of diagrams that you just, the example is in the core wiki one, and you can describe how that system works. So you get the search application, which is scene service, etc., or DB search service, and you have the article application, which has a reading and a management component, etc., and they all write to persistence, etc. But you can go and describe the whole system with that one. And the fun part is that your diagrams, since they are actually not binary images, they are text, right? So you get all the different components, you get a container boundary with extra components in there. Those are those dotted lines there, which are boundaries. And then you describe the relations between both, between certain components. And that's basically it, because that's what your diagram does. And Plant UML just draws images out of that. And the C4 one, the C4 modeling, which is C4 models dot, I think it was com, yeah. This is a way of describing architectures in a very, I think, rather easy way, 4 different levels. I think it was more on the top where there was an example of how it worked. Yeah, here it is. So you get level 1, which is a system context. Then you can go into the specific container or containers, right? But usually just one. That container consists of components, which you can then describe, which is like the controller, etc., etc. And then if you go one level deeper, you go into the actual class diagrams that we all know from UML. And yeah, the most fun part of this one, you decompose it in your architecture in little parts. But the most fun I had was having this in actual plain text files. So if you swap out a component or etc., that would be an actual line change in your source repository. So without you having to generate those images again, you can have that. Now I did that up front, right? So because I didn't want Jeff to be doing that, and I wanted to serve them on the markdown files. So so you have the markdown text, etc., etc., and then the image in there. So I generated them, specified the output folder, etc., etc., and then used the images that the Plant UML thing gave. That's one. On the other hand, you could have your, it depends on what you want, but you could have, because now it was generated by VS Code on the fly. On the other hand, you could use this, you could have them generated by a build system, etc., etc. So this is fully Plant UML compatible, right? So I think there's even a, if I remember correctly. Okay, why are you? There are URLs that you can generate. So this text file then goes encoded, and that URL can then be used on anywhere on the internet. So that generates a URL for a PNG, for instance. You end up with that URL. Now let's see what that brings up. So that's the URL. I think it's gonna be that, like that. And that should have everything on board. Yeah, there we go. So this is being served on PlanTuneML. It just decodes this decoded thingy. And you can use that as a generated thing. Would I consider doing a project from start to finish so people can follow up? Yes, I would. Absolutely. I just have no clue or idea what that project should be. So yeah, well, I have no idea. I've been thinking about it, and I mentioned it on. I made a repository on my GitHub. So if you want to know, that should be, yeah, should be that one, which is just my Twitch name without the 2, because that one apparently was taken. I do have a repository on there called Livestream, where I just made a page, just a little page, on what I want to do, what I can talk about, what things I want to explore for myself, etc., etc. There's still a lot missing here. One of them is that indeed that C4 model thingy, and these are all just examples with microservices, etc., and of which I took the second one. I want to have look more into microservices itself, but what I really would like to do is find a noble goal, which usually doesn't have too many IT resources, cannot afford to have custom software written, and for which there is nobody yet who's willing to take up that time and investment. Yeah, sure, it could be an app for order fulfillment, but there are so many apps already for order fulfillment. I want to do something that's like Noble, in the sense of like, and I've been looking into that. One of them could be animal shelters, which I found that there are a couple here in Belgium. They usually don't have too many fonts. So custom software specifically for animal shelters is not something that's public. Well, there are not too many there. Let's have a look. Yeah, I did that once before. There were a couple. Some of them were actually desktop applications. There are a couple, and then you go and look at that software, and like me, okay, not too good. The only thing is, I don't know anything about animal shelters. I have no idea what their needs are. I have no. Well, you can go and steal from these and their IDs, because you need to follow up on. I mean, I wrote software for retirement homes a couple of years back as a job. So how much different is that gonna be? Don't want to make the comparison between animals and seniors, but yeah, but how different is it gonna be? You get a couple of residents and they need medical care, etc., etc. So the needs are gonna be very much alike. They're gonna need food. They're gonna need taken care of. You need a team to take care of them. They have to work in shifts, etc. Because you're 24/7, right? Yeah, it's not that different in a sense. I mean, the needs are. It's a team of people taking care of a loved one. Let's put it that way. That's more. Indeed, it wouldn't be very different. So, yeah, I can look into that. But the only thing is, and that's scaring me off a bit, because if you're gonna write software for a certain domain, in this case, it would be animal shelters, which I think is noble, because I often think that animals are far more honest than most people. That's the only thing you can count on an animal that's going to be honest to you. So, yeah, I think that's noble, and the fact that a lot of people in that sector are indeed spending their free time, and most of the time even voluntary work. So that, I think that's so noble what they're doing. So, and I want to contribute to that, but in the way that I know best, and the thing that I know best is writing software. So if I can help them with that in that way, that would be great. The only thing is, I don't know anything about animal shelters. I would need to go to visit one and ask what their needs are, and if they're willing to give me all that feedback that is needed. If you do know someone who can help me with that, that'd be great. Someone like a vet, or yeah, that's a whole different story. Vets, I mean, we need to gather. If I want to do that and do this kind of project like from scratch, I'd love to do that. But I would need someone to give me that domain knowledge, which I don't have. I mean, I can go and write something, but without knowing what they need, there's no point in starting with it. So we'll need a big analysis on that one, on trying to find out what's needed then. But that's just one idea. I mean, I was thinking of a noble goal. And especially people that do something for someone or something else, but they don't have the money to write the software for it, because custom software is not cheap. Yeah, as I said, animal shelters is just one idea. There are other organizations that really desperately need IT and programming support. So if we can do a project for them from scratch, yeah, that'd be nice. But I don't want to be writing the next to-do app, right? I mean, makes no sense. There are already too many to-do apps. So yeah, if I'm going to be embarking on a project, then I want it to be something meaningful and that it actually is being used, and then preferably people who contribute in a very noble way can have something. Yeah, everybody does a to-do app, so we don't need one of those anymore. I mean, we got that pretty much covered now. So. Yeah, well, indeed. But as I said, this is what I think a noble goal. So the only thing is there a need for animal shelter software? Can we make it distributed? Can we host it somewhere? Yeah, that would be nice to know. But I would need to investigate on so many levels to see whether that's worth the effort at the moment. There is software there. I have no idea whether that's sufficient at the moment, and can we make it better? But we'll see. Yeah, hosting that can be expensive, but it kind of depends on how you write it. I think if we do it in microservices, then it shouldn't be too hard, and then you can make it global. Although on the other hand, there are probably some regulations which are going to be different in different countries. So you would need something specific for each country. Yeah, I mean, you can run like a server for $5 or $6 in a month. I mean, I run a server on DigitalOcean, and yeah, log in with Google. It should work. No, it doesn't. Didn't match it up. Oh boy. Anyway, DigitalOcean is a service you might know. It's and they serve. If I can spell, please. DigitalOcean. You can run droplets for. What's the pricing? $5. You get 1 CPU, 25 storage disk space, 1 terabyte of transfer, 1 gig of memory, $5 a month. And that'll, I mean, 10, 15, etc. And which is nice is that they recently started running managed Kubernetes clusters, which is like, wow, cool. And then I looked at the pricing there, and they're comparable. They're a bit cheaper. They don't have the experience of Google and Azure and AWS, etc. But they're a little bit cheaper. You can run a smaller cluster and still have something running there. So. Oh, you get a small app on the free service, AWS? Yeah, okay. Well, we can look into that, on where it would be running. I mean, there are animal shelters all over the world. Probably not in places where they would be needed. I mean, USA and Europe pretty much covered the needs, although there could be more. I mean, there should be more. There are too many animals in those shelters. But if you were to run that globally, then yeah, we'll have to look at availability zones, etc., etc. And I think being a noble goal, that you can probably get some funding up quite easily. Well, I would hope so. So yeah, that'd be nice. It's if I do start on doing a project like that, I think it's gonna have to be like a joint effort, something where all the experience of all the guys that I follow on Twitch at the moment, if we could combine them and have the whole project be coded on Twitch, but by different users, and have a collaboration on that. Yeah, we can involve Fritz and friends. We can involve Robert Tables for doing the deployment on AWS, etc. Maybe he can get some sponsoring. maybe Fritz can get some sponsoring there. He'll probably want us to run it on Azure. Robert will want us to run it on AWS. I'll let them fight it out. Yeah, but there are a couple of people there that are, I mean, amazing coders, and they code now on their free time on stuff that I'm think like, yeah, maybe we should invest more into the noble part of at least, and that's I think where our efforts would be most useful, especially if I'd hate to see that time and effort go to waste to another to-do app, if you know what I mean. So yeah, that'd be cool. So that was the idea in my original plan for the stream. So I think, yeah, well, we still have, I mean, I left it open as a noble goal, but what that would be, my first idea would be like animal shelters, but it could be anything. Basically, if we're doing a project, I want it to be useful, and I want people who cannot afford it to help them out, and yeah, if they're doing something for the community on their free time and their spare time, then I can do so as well. And if we then can help each other, that would be great. And then, given all the knowledge that's on Twitch at the moment with all the dev streams, we can have Dev Chatter. He's a great programmer, and have them all collaborate. There are a lot of people on. I remember on. Oh really? He mentioned his local shelter home or something similar needing a software. That would be awesome if we could all do that together. That'd be great. So yeah, I think we need to open up some channels here and there, and then yeah, I'll probably be on there tomorrow as well. So yeah, we can talk about it. I'm pretty sure he's going to be interested in doing something like that. The thing is, we need to find the right noble goal that everybody agrees on, and then I think if we can have a couple of dev streamers work together and collaborate and do pull requests to each other, and then we have the whole community. I mean, there are on average about little less than 100 people on when Fritz is streaming. A lot of people in there, a lot of experienced people in there. I think the nobler the goal is going to be, the more engaging that community is going to be, because you're contributing at that point is not just the next piece of software, not just another wiki, right? I mean, the core wiki is nice, and I've put some effort into that because I want to be more as an example. But on the other hand, yeah, if we're working on a project where like actual people are working with, and they otherwise would not have anything like that, and they're doing a job that's noble in itself, and I mean that would be awesome. So yeah, we'll see. I mean, and I liked at least have the idea out there and see what we can do, and then have all these technologies help us in that way, and yeah, there is requirement gathering. Yeah, that is something that would be needed for this kind of project. And Core Wiki indeed did not have a proper start. That was just file new project and let's see what we can get on the page. And that's why I can't remember when I did it. There was this one pull request where I like completely restructured it up to a point where I said, okay, if I'm go any further now, he'll probably reject it because I've completely rewritten the whole thing. So I was like, okay, let's just do the basics and get them on the right path, and that ended then up in these kind of drawings where we would have at least have I think most was in this one. Yeah, splitting up the management and the reading part, and I think maybe the API controller, but anyway, the whole idea there was if you go too far, then yeah. Anyway, it was a nice example. It helps if you do have the requirements up front and have the analysis up front. Although, and I must say that following the waterfall principle is not the best way to go. So you cannot have a full, conclusive analysis completely up front. It just doesn't work that way. You should have at least some domain knowledge of what you're going to do. You should have some idea how it's going to work, the big picture. So preferably something like level 2. Can I have that in preview? So in Jeff's case, that would have been something like this, where let's close this one up. So something where you would say, okay, I get an API, get a search index, etc., and have that basic architecture up and running, and you have some idea, and then you can go start coding on that one and see, okay, what's going to be needed, but nothing more. Upfront, but something like this would have helped in the beginning. Yeah, sure. So you would have all the moving parts, and if we had this one in the beginning of Core Wiki, that would have helped a lot, I think. He basically started with the reader, the UI, bam, go to the database, and that's it. And that's how, that's file new project, right? I mean, that's what's in the template at the moment. So, yeah, well, if we start on a project like this, which is going to be used by actual people, then I think we would need to do some more analysis. Go talk to animal shelters. What do you need? What don't you need? What's overkill? What's the minimum viable product? And then once we get that, then we can go back to them for details later once we start coding on a particular part of it. Yeah, maybe, I don't know, maybe we should ask tomorrow on Fritz's stream, I think, or whether a lot more people. I'm sure there are people there in the chat who have or know people who work in the animal shelter business. And it being a noble goal, I think we can even have some funding on there. What do you mean that's confusing? That's not the process followed in dev environments. What do you mean with that? You mean they follow the waterfall principle? Here's an analysis coded exactly like that is, and then deliver? You feel that that's the case? Oh, you mean just found new? Yeah. I always say, think first, then do, instead of do first and then reflect on what you did. Yeah, there's a follow. Yeah, true. That is a follow that we, the process that we followed on the Core Wiki thing. It's not bad. but it shows you, and actually the fact that we did it that way and see what we ended up with, shows you what that kind of methodology leads you to. So as an example, it's not bad. It shows you that you should do some proper analysis and thinking before you start a project and not just go file new. And that's why I draw these kind of diagrams. It takes some time, right? I mean, it's a little bit of text you need to write out. You then get the diagram that you want to see, right? Let's get the, for instance, that one, right? You get a diagram and then you see, hey, does that work? Is this clear? Does it make sense? Which parts are missing? Which ones aren't? And, I mean, that makes you think. I mean, you get some idea when you do file new and you get some wild idea, but until you see it on your screen, that's why I like to do the C4 models. It's not too descriptive, it's not limiting to specific like UML does, like it has to be exactly that or it doesn't accept it. No, I mean, here you're as free as a bird, and just some plain diagrams that should help at least have an idea of an understanding of how a piece of software works together. And this maps easily to microservices, etc. So at my job, what do I use the C models for? Well, the idea there is we have at the moment, because I recently started this job, I've only been on the job for 3 weeks now. But what I would like to use it for is, I mean, that company exists now for over 20 years. They have tons and tons of software written by people who don't work there anymore. So half to 3/4 is software that is, I'm not going to say not maintained anymore, but at least not fully understood anymore, let's put it that way. It still has to be maintained, of course, and there are a lot of moving parts in there, and I don't think there is anyone at the moment who knows all those parts and how they work together. So if you would talk to all the different persons who know little parts of it, then you can use something like this to diagram out all those moving parts and get that one full big picture clear again. So there are people who, for instance, know about the core wiki backend, but there are other ones who know everything about the identities, etc., etc. And there are other ones who know, in our case, for instance, how the communication with robots is done. But yeah, the idea there is to consolidate on all different pieces. So, and that's why where something like this C4 comes in handy, because it's fairly easy to understand for most people. It's not the funky UML thing that a manager doesn't understand. So it's just some blocks and some arrows, and that's it, and a couple of boxes and a piece of text in it, and that's it. And that's something that most people still understand. So it's nothing technical anymore. You can mention technical stuff like it says razor pages here and ASP.NET Core, just the language in which it was written, but nothing more than that. So it helps managers to understand, but it also helps if you're in bigger teams. It helps different programmers know how to talk to each other. So, and it's fairly easy to do. So. All right. I still have to figure out what that Nomad thing on Windows is doing, because this doesn't make any sense. But that'll be for next time, I think. We did get it working on Linux. That's cool. I think the next part would be, and we'll continue this one on Linux then, of course, would be to include console. And let's see where the documentation at on Hashicorp. And then we'll look at this console thingy, which is just service discovery, etc. But I also already saw that in action here in the D shop, because they use it and it actually works. But now fixing Nomad on top of that. Next, what I wanted to do, I saw this AWS Nomad Quick Start Terraform, and there was this whole console thingy, and this is where I would, was it this one? Yeah, it was this one. Where you would have, like we just saw earlier today, a Nomad server and a Nomad client, but then 3 Nomad servers and 3 or more clients. That's the part that we looked at today. The console server is gonna make those Nomad servers know, those Nomad clients' jobs or tasks, or I think they call it tasks, right? Okay. How to talk to each other and know that one is up and running, and because each task would register itself with the console server, and then it would in that way know that there is another service at some other availability zone, for instance, that's up and running, and then deploy this in, I don't know, it doesn't have to be AWS, it could be Azure. We could do this in just, we could do it in plain Kubernetes, we can do it on Google's Kubernetes version. So, okay. Great, Hashicorp, I really do appreciate you sticking till the end here. I appreciate your the interaction here. It was great having you. Maybe next time we'll get some more people on there. That'd be great. Well, we go step by step, right? I think if we keep the subject interesting, then both technically and maybe in some other noble way, then yeah, I think we can make this work. So yeah, general idea is this diagram here. It doesn't have to be on AWS, but I want to investigate it more and see how it works and see all the moving parts in action and learn from this. And yes, you will definitely see me tomorrow on Fritz's stream. And yeah, I would say let's talk and let's see if we can find if we can agree on a noble goal, and maybe we'll start it by ourselves and have other people jump in. We'll see. And step by step, baby steps, and then we'll make it happen. Okay. Thanks for your time. Wish you all the best, and then maybe I'll see you next time. Okay. See you later, guys. Bye-bye.